So for this to work, I'm kind of gonna start a little from the last part that we're going to do as well. But what we want to start out with is I want to create this kind of spotlight behind everything, like the flow here, right, with the white colors that goes through. So I'm gonna create that first before we do all the text and everything. So if you go back to your style sheet here, and I just made a comment down here, so I know what this is the second area for my mix and everything. And if you just use the spotlight here, or we are going to use the selector for spotlight, and in here we're going to write out our code for this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write position absolute. So taking out of the design in this case, we're going to use we're going to use top minus 100%. So because we're going to use an animation to move it from top and down to create this effect here, right? So we're going to use the animation to like move it like down like this. That's why we have it. So back to this and here. So that's the first one. The next one we're going to do is we're going to do the same for left. So minus 100%. Whoops, that's not 100%. And we're going to do right 0 and bottom 0 as well. So this is, oh, here we go. That's the first part of this. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to make the background color for this one. This is going to be a little bit bigger one, so I'm going to use some space here instead. In here, I'm going to create some bubbles, some circles, and use the radial gradients to make it a little bit more bright in the center and then fade out with the light as the circle completes, right? So the first one we're going to do is radial gradient, and it already asked me if this is the one I want to do. Yes, it is. And I'm just going to make a space so it's easier to read. And again, I mentioned I want to use a circle for this one. I want the color to be white in this case, and I want some transparency for this transparent. There we go. Spelling it correctly is important. 25% in this case. So that's the first part of this radial gradient here. I want a circle, color, and how transparent I want it to be, right? I want to put it at the center. I'm just going to write it after this one here for a little bit more center. And I'm going to add 25%, 25%. You can see this in the code. This will also increase like the flow through light. So we will change this later on so you can actually see what this, so bigger circle, the more you add for this, the bigger the light impact will be when it goes through this one. So if I add more, you can actually see one of this one bubble here is a little bit more brighter than some of the others. That's because it's adding a little bit more than 25 or 60%, something like this. But yeah, that's the first one we want. We want to add another one because I want more than one. So radial, I'm going to copy the other one actually. So just take this one and remember to have your comma separation here. Paste in the next one. So we have circle, white, and circle. And instead of having transparent here, I want to add black for the last one here. And I still want to keep it for 25. I still want to keep, no, I actually want to change this one to 2.15% and 12.5%, there we go. And the same for this one down here. So let's click save. Let's see what this does to our browser. It's probably going to go totally, you can actually see a lot now. That's because I forgot to do something. So if you just follow from the last video or you start it again like I did here, you need to remember to watch your CSS down here because mine was not being updated. So I'm just going to do a save and refresh. So now you can see we have these bubbles here, and depending on the size on these percentage here, you can switch up the size of everything. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to add a, oh, where did it go? I'm going to add the first mix blend dash mode here, where, oops, I put it outside this here, so don't do like me, do like this. So remember to put inside your curly bracket here. So mix bloat, I'm going to use color dodge for this. We'll check this on this later to what it actually does. But for now, just do this. And why do I have an error here? I forgot to end this one correctly. This is not supposed to be a comma separation. This is supposed to be a semicolon. Cool. So that's the first part. So let's click save again, and probably not a lot of difference, but you can see, well, you can see the color dodge here. We can actually, we're mixing the layers together now, but it's not pretty, right? It looks weird, but that's all right for now. Cool. So in the next video, we're going to just create the standard animations for this one. I'm going to do it here. It doesn't take a long time. So I'm just going to create the animation. Since we've done this a few times, I'm going to use light. That's the name of the animation we're going to use. I'm going to use 5 seconds. I'm going to use linear. You can go out and check if you want some of the others, ease in and so on, infinite, there we go. So continue forever, and remember to end it with your semicolon. And then outside I'm gonna do the at keyframe. And what was the name of our animation? It was light. And create our curly brackets. I'm just gonna use 2 because it's running forever from one place and we don't care from where. And then we're going to use transform here like we did before, translate, so moving an object or an element in HTML. That's what we use this for, so like navigations in phones when they come from the side. We're just going to add 50% and 50%. Like this, like this, and out here. So let's click save, refresh, that should start making it move like this. You can tone up the speed or whatever you want as long as it fits, right? But that's what we want for now. Cool. So I'm just gonna really weirdly gonna mark everything out for this one here because we're going to add this later. This is just gonna be a little bit confusing for us now. So save, and now we're back to square one. I just wanted to show you how the back layer is looking and how we're going to use that later on. All right, see you in the next video.